Republicans come into this race with a lot of experience. One candidate has spent more than 30 years in political office. The other two have both worked in politics and have run campaigns themselves. The candidates are Ed Priola, Peter Boykin, and Steve Ross. Ross is the former mayor of Burlington who served 8 years in the North Carolina House. Can I ask, how do you like your chances in the primary?
I think they're good. I would be running if I didn't think I had a good chance. Again, I think experience counts.
Priola is a college professor who ran for the legislature in Maryland a decade ago. Do you have any background in politics?
I do. Stretching back when I was a younger man and curlier hair, I worked for the Reagan for President campaign in 1980 for the better part of 2 years.
Boykin describes himself as an activist. He ran for the North Carolina House in Guilford County back in 2018. He's also the leader of Gays for Trump.
But the difference is, I don't know if any of those would be willing to rock the boat, to fuss at the establishment, to get seen and heard, and to side with things that aren't always party lines.
We asked the candidates where they stand on issues facing the General Assembly: medical marijuana, sports gambling, and Medicaid expansion. Medicaid expansion, very big issue here in this state. Where do you stand?
Well, again, the devil's in the detail. The problem with expansion of Medicaid.
The candidates struggled with Medicaid. I think the voters would like to know where you stand on the idea of expanding Medicaid coverage in North Carolina.
Generally speaking, I'm opposed to it. And that's because the federal government puts its tentacles into the state government's priorities and prerogatives. And generally speaking, when the federal government gets into it, there's no end to it.
North Carolina has considered and is still considering Medicaid expansion. Where do you stand on that?
If we are going to expand anything, and with our budget and everything, it has to go toward the people in need who are already American citizens.
I just want to be clear, 37 states have approved Medicaid expansion. Do you favor it in North Carolina?
I would vote for it.
I think under the circumstances where we are now, I think you're going to see an expansion of some sort. Now, I don't know if it'll be a full expansion.
But do you favor expansion is what I'm trying to get from you.
Under certain circumstances, yes. I'm in favor as long as we don't get saddled with a huge deficit like we had when I first got to Raleigh.
Some 36 states have expanded Medicaid. You know that program. Would North Carolina do that? Would you support joining those other 36 states and expanding Medicaid the way they have?
I think under our current circumstances in North Carolina, that's something we can do.
There is also an effort to bring online sports betting to North Carolina. Where do you stand on that?
I think, again, we need to compete with how the other states have been, like Virginia as well. I'm a Republican, but, we might as well get the tax money off of it because everybody's doing it now. It's becoming streamlined, and Virginia absolutely needs that income. I mean, North Carolina as well. So North Carolina absolutely needs that income.
Yeah, again, I'd like to see the fine print on that before I would make a commitment. I'm not opposed to gambling. People should be able to choose what they want to do. But I would like to see exactly how that's going to take place.
The fine print on North Carolina's gambling bill is available. The legislation passed the Senate last summer and has already cleared one committee in the House. Steve Ross says he co-sponsored the bill when he served in the legislature.
We know it's coming, and it's something that, again, it needs to be done the right way. I thought we had a pretty good bill, and it made more progress in the last session. We've run it twice. In the last session, it moved a little closer, and I think that eventually that is going to pass.
After years of rejecting medical marijuana legislation, many lawmakers believe that this year it has a good chance of passing. What is your view on that?
I think we should take a stance like Virginia did. Virginia allows people to grow, and this is beyond medical marijuana, to grow and carry small quantities. We know it happens. We know people are doing it.
I support the notion of a doctor prescribing medical marijuana. The concerns, of course, are the regulation and when it gets to our children. If it's not tightly regulated, then there's some concern that people will use it for recreational purposes and abuse the system.
And until you've been in people's shoes that have some of these illnesses, you just can't understand. And it's not something that you can run down to the drugstore and anybody can go get it. So I think for compassionate use, it's something we need to do.
The winner of the GOP primary takes on incumbent Democrat Ricky Hurtado come November. Bill O'Neill, WXII 12 News.